Good morning. Welcome to the EOF webinar. And once again, congratulations on your admissions to Rutgers Camden. In the webinar today, there will be two facilitators, myself, Ms. Caroline Waters from the EOF program, and Ms. Olivia Longo, Senior Financial Aid Officer of the Financial Aid Office. So in today's webinar, we're going to discuss a few things. We're going to discuss first a brief history of the EOF program, the EOF program services, and the EOF program compliance requirements. Then, after my presentation, Ms. Olivia Longo will discuss the EOF verification process. Okay, the EOF program was created in 1968 as a result of the riots in Newark, New Jersey. There are currently 42 EOF programs across the state of New Jersey. Some are in private institutions and the rest are in public institutions. The foundation of the program is to provide student support services through a holistic approach. Though we are a state program, each program is autonomous, which means it differs from one institution to another. So the program requirements may be different. The EOF program at Rutgers Camden services students in the following areas: one-on-one academic coaching and student support services with your assigned EOF counselor, student-centered programs and workshops to address professional development, academic success, and other educational topics, experiential learning and leadership opportunities to supplement and enhance your academic experience, a family-like environment to ensure that your academic success and on-time graduation are in place, and referrals to campus resources are made based on student needs. The program at Rutgers Camden has its own program compliance, so students on our campus must complete workshops, attend meetings with the EOF counselor 2 times a month, and meet with the academic advisor at least once per semester. Continued funding is based on your participation in this program. So, leading to this is the financial aid verification process. So once the financial office determines your eligibility, you will be required to attend the EOF orientation, which will take place in the first week of September. You will then meet with your EOF counselor and be provided with the compliance information for the fall semester. Please note that once the verification process begins, your entire financial aid package for the fall semester will be on hold until you complete the EOF verification process. In other words, once this verification is entered into the financial aid system, you will have to complete it. Therefore, you must decide today, after this webinar, if you still want to be continued in this process for EOF funding. If you decide that you don't want to continue, be mindful that you cannot reapply to the EOF program in the future. So this is your only opportunity to apply. I will need to know by Monday, the 15th, if you no longer want to be considered for EOF. If you want to be considered, fine, we do not need to hear from you, but if you do not want to be considered for this process, I need to hear from you by Monday morning, the 15th. I will now turn the webinar over to Ms. Longo from the Financial Aid Office so that she can provide her facilitation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olivia Longo, and I'm going to be talking to you about our EOF verification process. Okay, so the EOF program is a state-funded program that actually offers services and is a program that's centered around facilitating educationally and economically disadvantaged backgrounds or students from those backgrounds and offering a grant to those students. So I know that Caroline actually already explained more in depth about the program, but this just gives you a little bit more background information. And the undergraduate grants actually for the program can range anywhere from $200 to $2,650 annually, depending on the type of institution or the financial need. Our grants specifically here at Rutgers Camden, the award can be up to $1,500 annually. And they are actually renewable based upon your continued eligibility within the program. And who is eligible in this program? So all students have to be New Jersey residents for at least 12 consecutive months before their enrollment here. They would be students who demonstrate historical poverty as defined by our EOF guidelines, and any student would need to be enrolled full-time as well. There we go. So I apologize for that technical glitch there. So our next slide is going to be talking about documentation required for EOF verification. So every student that would like to participate in the EOF program actually must go through a process called verification. And this verification process is determined by our Office of Financial Aid through the guidelines set by the Higher Education Student Assistance Authority, or otherwise known as HESA. So every student would need to meet certain requirements, especially income requirements. So some of that documentation that may be requested from you would be some of the following. Indefinitely, every student will be required to submit an asset verification form. Some students may have to submit an extra year worth of that information more than others. So I would just start preparing all of that information now if you can. But otherwise, it would be year 2017 that we're looking for, and some may require 2016 as an additional year. Another form that we are requiring is a household verification form. So that we can verify, of course, the household size and family members benefiting from any income coming in. So those are definitely two requirements. Some of these other listed there on that third bullet point may be applicable to you. They may be not. So it really just depends on your situation. But some examples may be Social Security benefits, disability, SNAP, and TANF benefits. So again, just start gathering that information now if you know that you accept those benefits at this time. Another final document that would be requested is a tax return transcript. So again, the years may vary, but at this point it would be 2017. We may require 2016 as an additional year as well. And that note at the bottom there, you really want to take note of. Please wait to receive any notification from our office in financial aid before submitting any documentation. So you can start gathering this information to be prepared and ready to go, but do not submit anything on your end until we request it from you, because we want to make sure that we're organized and every student submits the right documentation. Okay, so to talk a little bit further about what a tax return transcript is, any tax return transcript that is sent can be obtained directly from the IRS office, and that would need to come from them, and it's a specific document. There are other supplemental ways to file your taxes in the form of either a 1040, a 1040A, or a 1040E, which are considered short forms. So normally in the past we've actually required a tax return transcript, but this past year recently and potentially moving forward, we can accept those other forms of filing taxes, either like the 1040 or the short forms. So just be aware of that when you are requesting those or when you have been filing your taxes. Those documents, can be accepted at this time. But if you are obtaining a tax return transcript or any of those forms, you can do it in actually many different ways. So you would want to just follow the steps on the screen here, but you can absolutely do it by phone by contacting the IRS number directly. You can go online and go to irs.gov and use the steps that are given there and right on the website to make sure you're selecting the appropriate tax year and then requesting it directly from there. And the final way would be by mail. So by mail is a little bit more of a process in the sense more in depth. So you just want to make sure you're following these steps indefinitely. You have to mail a specific form or mail or fax the specific form, the IRS form 4506-T, to the IRS directly, and they will mail your tax return transcript to you directly as well. That's really important because they handle that, they facilitate that at the IRS office. If you did want to go to your nearest IRS office in person, you can certainly do that. You would just want to make sure you look for those locations near you and make sure that if you don't have to make an appointment or not. Okay, so managing your required documentation online is fairly simple, and we like to line it out really easily for you so that you can easily access those documents or what's required from you. So the Office of Financial Aid, we always communicate through email pretty regularly, so you just want to make sure you're checking that email on the regular to make sure that you're not missing anything. So either way, you can actually manage all of your documents and what's required from you online at financialaid.rutgers.edu. So you can go right on our website. And we have this little example here for you. When you do go on the financial aid website, you can actually scroll down to the middle of the page. And what we have circled there is our icon for checking documents. So you'll just select on check documents right there. You can log in with your net ID and your RUID and password, and then you will be able to see anything that's missing from you and what we're requiring. So you really want to just make sure you're following those steps. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Higher Education Student Assistance Authority now, or otherwise known as HESA. So there are some steps that you have to follow through HESA directly and on their website to make sure you're ensuring the proper receiving of your grant. So the HESA is actually an agency that is able to supply students with state grants and scholarships. So some of them, for instance, especially the TAG Award, the Tuition Aid Grant. There's also NJ Stars 2, which some students are eligible for, and of course the EOF Award. So you want to make sure that you're following everything you need on their end separately so that you're ensuring those grants. So, and there is a note on there in terms of any student that may be an NJ Dreamer. Instead of doing the FAFSA, you would do something called an NJ Alternative Application for financial aid, and you can also do that right on the HESA site. But to go back to the steps that you need to follow with HESA, you can actually log right onto HESA.org with your username and password. If you do not have an account already currently, you can create one by using your student FSA ID. Once you log in, they're going to require you to respond to probably about 5 questions that you will need to respond in full, and submit any other documentation that they may ask from you. That is separate from Rutgers. It's through the state, so you have to make sure that you're doing that. It is your responsibility as the student, and you want to make sure that you're completing those steps to, have the successful completion of that process to receive your grant. When you do go on that site, it will just try to make it pretty easy for you and let you know if you're missing anything. So if there's a red X, you're missing something. If there's a green check mark, they have received it. So just want to follow those steps when you're on there. Here are some important dates for you coming up. So I know that Caroline already mentioned Monday, July 15th. After this upcoming weekend, that would be the last day to indicate if you would like to be withdrawn from EOF consideration and verification for the program. So if you haven't already and you are no longer wishing to be considered, just make sure you reach out to Caroline and let her know. If you already did let her know, there's nothing you need to do further except for wait for your emails from financial aid. The next date is Thursday, August 15th. That is actually the last day to turn in all of your verification documents to us in the Office of Financial Aid to be considered for the EOF program. So again, you're waiting for emails requesting those documents, but that would be the last day to submit anything for verification. And once you are open for that financial verification, just remember that you do have to complete and turn in all of those documents to financial aid to be considered and completed for the program. Okay, so in closing, these are just 2 of our lovely pictures here of myself and my colleague Caroline, so that you have our contact information readily available to you. So we have our emails and phones where we can be in contact with you. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us directly so we can help you along with this process further. And now I'm going to actually pass it back to Caroline for her closing remarks, but I thank you so much for your time, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you, Olivia. Well, in closing, we want to thank you so much for viewing the EOF webinar today. Again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us directly. The information is on your screen. Please keep in mind that the verification process will begin on Monday afternoon, the 15th. So after that, you want to make sure that you check your Rutgers email for the requested documents from the financial aid office. Again, once you have completed the financial aid verification process and then the financial aid office has made a decision, I will contact you directly for the next steps. Thank you so much again for attending, and have a great day. We look forward to working with you soon. Thank you.